Homecoming week kicked off with a parade through the village on Sunday and came to an end with the varsity football game on Friday. We'll have highlights coming up. Costumed children marched down Broadway Street into downtown Lake Orion during the DDA's annual Halloween parade. Hundreds of women visited more than 24 downtown businesses to raise funds for a good cause during the annual Babes on Broadway event. And the holiday season is officially underway as the Lions Club hosted its annual Christmas for Everyone charity fundraiser to make sure no family goes without a Christmas. Hello, I'm Stacy Calloway. I'll have those stories and more on this edition of ONTV News. The goal of the Lake Orion Downtown Development Authority is to support businesses in the village and help generate foot traffic. Recently, the DDA hosted an event that did just that while also helping a nonprofit organization. On the evening of Thursday, October 12th, more than 250 women descended on downtown Lake Orion to take part in Babes on Broadway. Participants were encouraged to visit all of the 27 businesses taking part in the event while collecting gifts and trinkets along the way.
They are going to get the best treatment from our Broadway gents. They're going to get charming men smiling at them and opening doors and things like that. They're going to go into each of the shops, and the shops are going to have a little gift for them. Everybody is going to have a great time, and we're going to end up at Lockhart's, and they'll get to see Representative Riley present the check. We've been raising funds for Humble Design, like I said. We'll present the check. They'll get to have some gorgeous cupcakes from Nuts About Chocolate, and it'll be a really nice night. They'll get some raffle prizes that they could win at the end of the night.
Money raised at the event benefited Humble Design, an organization that helps families transitioning from homeless shelters by providing home furnishings.
I want to say thank you to sponsors. Simply Marcella donated the bags. They have gorgeous pink bags for the gifts, for all the gift items that they'll get at the 27 different shops. And then M&B Graphics, they created the posters, they created promotional items about Humble Design, and they made the Babes card. And they did all of that on their own dime so that we could donate more to Humble Design. So I want to thank a really, really big thank you to them. And then the balloons, we've got some really pretty balloons here. Those are from Something Fabulous.
The event raised $3,200 for Humble Design. If you'd like to learn more about the efforts of the organization, visit humbledesign.org. Part of ONTV's mission is to encourage the community to connect through video production. One of ONTV's most successful events recently took place, and the response was tremendous. On Wednesday, October 18th, filmmakers of all ages were invited to attend ONTV's 4th annual Wildwood Film Festival at the Goodrich Oxford 7 Theater. Family and friends filled the theater to capacity as 16 locally produced short films were shown, the most ever for this event. Things kicked off on Friday the 13th as filmmakers gathered at the ONTV studio to go over the rules of the film challenge. Each team had approximately 72 hours to plan, shoot, and edit a short film that incorporated the number 13, had a scene shot at Canterbury Village, and included an assigned line of dialogue. 6 adult teams turned in finished films, while 10 teams competed in the youth division. A panel of judges looked at every film and voted for the top films. Netting a first-place finish in the adult division was A Good Death, produced by Brian Forsvat and his team.
I'm not going.
What?
Not yet. I have something to do first.
Listen, man, I'm not the bad guy. I'm just trying to help you through this process and... Ah! Jesus Christmas! What the heck?
The live audience is what makes this whole thing. Like, this experience, it wouldn't be anything if I wasn't sharing it with good friends, people who could also make films, you know? And it wouldn't be what it is without an audience, someone who can appreciate what other people have made. And there was multiple things I enjoyed. There was a film by Kaylee and Jess Dempsey, and I thought it was very fantastic, and that was one I definitely appreciated. Didn't necessarily get an award, but you know what? I went out there and I thought, this is a good film, and I hope that's what people thought about mine.
And finishing first in the youth division was Charlie Fracker and Friends with their short film about Last Night, which tells the story of 2 friends trying to return a mystical sword to its rightful home.
It feels amazing. I really didn't think that I was going to win this. I expected to, I don't know, I didn't really expect this, is what I'm trying to say, yeah. My uncle, actually, he had a sword, so we decided to incorporate that sword into kind of having to return the sword under a limited amount of time, and me and my dad had a couple of just really long talks and some car rides about what we're going to do and how we're going to make it good.
Congratulations to all those who took part in the film festival. If you would like to take advantage of all that ONTV has to offer the community, call 248-693-3377 or visit orionontv.org. Normally, you might not think to visit a gas station to enjoy some fine cuisine, but there's only one local gas station that just might make you change your mind.
Hold it up there. Yay!
On Tuesday, October 17th, representatives of the Orion Area Chamber of Commerce gathered at the Lake Village Stop mobile gas station to celebrate the official grand opening of Mediterranean Station. The grill located inside the gas station serves up some of the tastiest Mediterranean cuisine you can find in the Orion area.
Long story short, we had people asking people what they wanted to see in the kitchen. Kitchen's been open and closed multiple times throughout the past 3 or 4 years, different owners and whatnot, never worked out. Finally, we had the last person that was there, wasn't working out for him. We decided to ask the community what they wanted to see, and they said Mediterranean. So we decided to take it into our own hands and do Mediterranean. It's simple recipes that we just grew up eating, and this is just what we've been eating our whole lives, really. So just kept it simple and did all the staple Mediterranean items.
The owners took over the gas station about 4 years ago and have been making improvements ever since. They opened the grill at the beginning of 2017 and invite the community to give it a try.
This community is just awesome. It's really just a family community, and very lucky to be part of it.
You can take a look at their menu by visiting Mediterranean Station on Facebook, or you can call 248-693-4565 for more information. The following week, the Chamber of Commerce hosted another ribbon-cutting ceremony, but this time they celebrated a milestone for a popular music venue. On Thursday, October 26th, members of the Orion Area Chamber of Commerce gathered at 20 Front Street for a ribbon cutting celebrating its one-year anniversary. Owners Alan Getz and his wife Angela opened 20 Front Street in 2016 to showcase local and national musicians in a small-scale setting.
We opened about a year ago, and we are an acoustic music venue with a social cafe and creamery. We have jazz, rock and roll, singer-songwriters, all different types of music, and then also some theatrical productions coming up as well.
The building itself dates back to the 1940s and once housed the Middleton family dairy. Most recently, it was an antique store. The building was completely revamped to include the stage that you see today, as well as a separate cafe and a seasonal creamery.
So a friend of mine, Scott Loudon, designed the building, or designed this space here, the venue space, and another friend, Brian Lowe, designed the social cafe over there. But it was originally a 1940s building, and they actually made ice cream in this building in the 40s and sold ice cream cones for 10 cents.
It was also announced at the ceremony that 20 Front Street was the winner of an Impact Award from the Chamber for their economic impact on the community. For more information on 20 Front Street and upcoming events, visit 20frontstreet.com. In October, the entire Lake Orion community came together to celebrate Homecoming Week. As usual, things kicked off with the Homecoming Parade on Sunday. Hundreds of residents lined the streets of downtown Lake Orion on the afternoon of October 15th as Police Chief Jerry Narsh led the parade in the department's vintage 1941 Ford police car. His passenger was honored veteran Bob Butler, who served in the U.S. Navy during World War II. The parade started at Blanche Sims Elementary, traveled west on Flint Street, and turned right on Broadway before coming to an end at the Eman Center. The parade was organized by high school students.
I do want to remind our community today's parade is student run, student organized, and student produced. We have a committee of 5 young Lake Orion high school students putting this parade together for you today. So if you get a chance to shout out to Chloe Carpenter, Serena Naylor, Caitlin Cesaric, James McCoy, or Christina Caramonte, those are our 5 students who put on the parade today, as well as members of the Lake Orion leadership class.
The Lake Orion Marching Band fired up the crowd with the high school's fight song, followed by hundreds of students representing all of Lake Orion schools. Athletes from a wide variety of sports marched along the route, as well as Lake Orion's cheer and dance teams. And of course, the entire homecoming court was introduced to the crowd by high school teacher Lori Hogan.
Our first of 4 senior couples On court, we have Brendan Rainey and Haley Paulson. Brendan and Haley are members of our senior court, representing the class of 2018. Next up, we have our next two senior court representatives, Matt Martacci and Sierra Avent. Again, Matt and Sierra are members of our senior court. Next up, we have Lauren Crane and Chris Cade. Lauren and Chris are members of our 2018 senior court. Our next class representatives are Noah Smith and Isabella Tartoni. Isabel and Noah are our final court couple today as class of 2018.
Bringing up the rear of the parade was the varsity football team just as the rain started to fall. The Dragons would be hosting the Birmingham Seahome Maples during Friday's homecoming game. Lake Orion High School celebrated homecoming with numerous events and activities throughout the week. One of the highlights was the annual Powder Puff football game between the juniors and the seniors. ONTV's Kevin McCormick has the highlights of the always entertaining game.
This year was the biggest year for Powder Puff, with each team having over 100 players on their rosters. Energy at the stadium was high as the juniors and seniors prepared to battle it out for the trophy. The seniors struck first with a 51-yard drive for their first touchdown late in the first quarter. After the point after kick, seniors were ahead 7-0. Jumping ahead to the end of the second quarter, senior Ali Lazara slipped through the junior defense and sprinted 49 yards for the second senior touchdown of the night. A successful kick brought the seniors to a 14-0 lead. As the seniors were putting up a dominating performance, the juniors needed a touchdown of their own. With 40 seconds left in the third quarter, junior Peyton Shadiah turned the corner and sped down the sideline for a 72-yard run for the touchdown, cutting the seniors' lead to only one touchdown. The fourth quarter of the game went by without anyone else scoring, and despite several close calls, the seniors took the win and the 2017 Powder Puff Trophy with a final score of 14-7. This is Kevin McCormick reporting for ONTV Sports.
Thanks, Kevin. For many, the highlight of homecoming week was the varsity football game between the Dragons and the Birmingham Seahome Maples. The game was Lake Orion's final game of the 2017 season. ONTV's Joe Johnson has the highlights, including the crowning of the 2017 King and Queen.
On the evening of Friday, October 20th, the 2-6 Dragons hosted the 1-7 Birmingham Seahome Maples in an OAA Red crossover game. The Dragons were hoping for a win on homecoming to salvage their disappointing season under first-year head coach John Blackstock. Less than 5 minutes into the first quarter, Matt Freeman fields a Maples punt at the 41, splits defenders, and takes it all the way to the Maples' 25-yard line. A few plays later, Dylan Frank walks into the end zone from the 1 for the Dragons' first score of the game. The PAT was good, Lake Orion 7, Seahome nothing. On Seahome's next possession, the Maples are looking at a 2nd and 10 on their own 33 when quarterback Joel Mitchell hands off to Chase Mentag, who finds a hole and is finally tripped up at the Dragons' 27 for a gain of 44 yards. On the very next play, Nick Lang takes the handoff, turns the corner, and races into the end zone for a 27-yard touchdown. The extra point was good, and the game was tied at 7. At the start of the second quarter, the Maples marched down the field and are threatening to score when they decide to go for it on 4th and goal. But the Dragons' defense holds their ground, and the Maples turn the ball over on downs. On the very next play, Dylan Frank gets the ball and fumbles, giving the ball right back to the Maples on the Dragons' 6-yard line. A few plays later, Mitchell feels the pressure, rolls to his left, and is picked off in the end zone by Tyler Vestrand. A few plays later, the Dragons are just across midfield when Blaze Lauer hands off to Dylan Frank, who streaks down the sideline and somehow manages to find the end zone to cap off a 47-yard touchdown run. The PAT was good, Lake Orion 14, Seahome 7. The Dragons' defense forced a punt, and the offense began their next drive on their own 15-yard line. On 1st and 10, Dylan Frank takes the handoff, and he is gone 85 yards into the end zone for his 3rd touchdown of the game, giving the Dragons a 21-7 lead with 2:37 left in the first half. Once again, the Dragons' D comes up big and forces another Maples punt. The Dragons begin their next drive on their own 47-yard line. On 1st and 10, Lauer fakes the handoff to Frank, gives it to Johnny Haggett, and he goes 50 yards all the way to the Maples 3-yard line. 2 plays later, Kobe Manzo takes the handoff and plunges into the end zone to give the Dragons a 3-touchdown lead as the second quarter came to an end. At halftime, the homecoming court was introduced to the crowd in attendance. Returning to Dragons Stadium was last year's King and Queen Connor Schlitt and Gianna Rowland to crown the 2017 homecoming King and Queen. Connor handed the crown to Matt Martacci, and Gianna placed the tiara on the head of Sierra Avent.
I was just so excited. I didn't expect to win. I was just so excited to even be on court, and I'm just so happy that I won and I got to win with my best friend.
Yeah. I mean, I second that. It's the same.
Yeah, describe the week and what the week has been like for you.
It's just been incredible. We've gotten so much support from our friends and family. It's just so great to see all the love that everyone's been giving us, and I'm just so happy, like unbelievably happy.
It's just been a super duper fun week, and I was a little stressed just because we have so much going on with all this stuff, but it was really, really fun, and I'm excited to hear about it.
Back to the action. In the third quarter, the Dragons are facing a 2nd and 6 with the ball on their own 13-yard line. Blaze Lauer hands off to Dylan Frank, and this happens. Unbelievable. Dylan Frank's 4th touchdown of the game was an impressive 87-yarder to give the Dragons a 35-7 lead over the Maples. He finished with 300 yards rushing. But the Dragons weren't quite done scoring yet. With just under 2 minutes left in the third, facing a 2nd and 6 on the Maples' 32-yard line, Lauer rolls right and hits Kobe Manzo, who stiff-arms a would-be tackler to reach the end zone. With a 35-point lead, officials initiate a running clock the rest of the way. The Dragons added a field goal to make the final score 45-7. We caught up with Coach John Blackstock after the game.
Boy, you sure gave a good show on homecoming.
Well, yeah, and that was part of the plan. We talked about that Sunday night, that this game is important for a lot of reasons. Number one, it's homecoming, and that's important. Number two, to, honor the community that continues to support us through a tough season, and most importantly, to send our seniors out on a great note, because of what they've put in over their 4 years, and especially this year.
The Dragons finished the season with a 3-6 record and will lose over 30 seniors when they graduate, including Dylan Frank. From Dragon Stadium, this is Joe Johnson reporting for ONTV Sports.
Thanks, Joe. Well, Halloween has come and gone, but the memories linger on. On Wednesday, October 25th, hundreds of kids and parents came out for the annual Halloween parade hosted by the Lake Orion Downtown Development Authority. The parade started at the Eamon Center with Police Chief Jerry Narsh leading the way in the police department's 1941 Ford police car. The parade traveled south on Broadway into the village where the local businesses handed out candy for the enthusiastic trick-or-treaters.
We've got GMC Galling, who's our sponsor this year. So they're passing out trick-or-treat bags. And then the community, of course, the residents are the parade. And then all of the downtowners, they are ready for all of those trick-or-treaters, and they pass out candy. And they've been excited about it. We've been talking about this for weeks. So today we had great weather. It was cloudy all day, but the sun came out right in time for us to walk in the parade. All of the kids were waving. They were saying Happy Halloween. All the downtown businesses were ready and waiting for them when they got down here.
For some participants, it was their first Halloween parade, while others are seasoned veterans of the event. The parade ended at Children's Park, where cider and donuts were passed out to the hungry participants who were eager to share their thoughts on this year's parade.
The parade's pretty cool. I've gone to it like every year. I stopped going to it for a couple years because I lived in Genesee, but it's a really cool parade. It's like one of the best that I've seen. Because there was one where I lived before, and that one didn't have near as many people show up, but this one has like everybody from the township, and I think that's what's awesome about it, because it brings people together.
I like the candy and the playground. What I like about the parade is like everyone gets to march around and do silly things, like they can dance, waddle, duck, everything. And being in a parade is just fun to people and family, and I have a good experience of it since I like to make people happy.
I think it's just great the community can come together and the businesses can give out candy. It's really nice to see all the parents and kids, and it's just a fun time.
This is something we do yearly, so we just look forward to it every year.
What do you like about the Halloween parade?
I like the little town feel of it. I like how friendly and opening it is for all the children.
Now that Halloween is over, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas here in the Orion area. Recently, the Lake Orion Lions Club hosted an event to make sure no one goes without a Christmas. On the evening of Saturday, November 4th, approximately 300 people came out for the Lake Orion Lions, a Christmas for Everyone charity auction held at Malash's Palace Chrysler dealership on the Pier Road. Those in attendance enjoyed a buffet dinner courtesy of Victoria's Bistro and were encouraged to take part in silent and live auctions throughout the evening. Bidders had 140 items to choose from during the silent auction and 11 high-end items during a live auction, including this adorable puppy who ended up going home with a loving family.
We've got a lot of people from the community. There's people who are also within our Lions clubs, other Lions clubs, plus people from the dealership who give us this wonderful location to have this auction at.
Just thank you again for your continued contributions towards our cause and just your wonderful donations over the years to make sure that we're able to put this event on. There's no way we could do it without your help.
Absolutely.
The money raised at the event allows the Lions Club to assemble baskets of food and gifts for families in need during the holiday season.
Well, last year we gave 240 baskets to different families, and then another 90 baskets to senior citizens. And each basket is about a week to 2 weeks worth of food, perishable items, meat, whatever really they need, dairy products. If there's children in there in the house, we'll make sure that they've got any special Christmas gifts that they've asked for. Anything really that the family asks or requests for, we make sure we have and try to meet their needs just to make sure that their holiday's better than what it was before.
The Lions Club will assemble baskets on Friday, December 15th in the Cirque Building Gymnasium and will deliver them on Saturday, December 16th. If you would like to volunteer your time to help, contact Lake Orion Lions by calling 248-975-6378 or visit lakeorionlions.org. The Friends of the Orion Township Public Library has been dedicated to helping the library for several years by raising money for program funding, material purchases, and more. None of this would be possible without the Friends members, and the organization holds events for them throughout the year. On Tuesday, October 17th, the Friends of the Orion Township Library held a reception for its members. The evening featured desserts, door prizes, and musical performances by Alan and Donna Nahajeski. The gathering was not only to share the latest Friends news, but also to honor those who have served the group over the years. Diane Griffiths was recognized for her time as president for the Friends from 2015 through 2017, as well as her years of volunteering. The Friends also thanked Pat Bellinger for spearheading the Passport to Spring Gala from the very beginning, as well as serving as president from 2011 to 2015. The final honoree was Christine Mardanico, who filled the board treasurer position in 2016 and played a big role in the Passport to Spring event. Colette DeWasick was the featured guest speaker for the event. DeWasick served as the Orion Township Supervisor from 1996 to 2000 and recently came out with a memoir entitled 6 of 12.
It's actually, the way I wrote it was like vignettes about growing up in a family of 12 children during the 40s and 50s. And it's like what our family did, what it was like during that time, what it was like for women particularly, not having electric wash machines and having to hang clothes out and make meals every day. And like my mom, and that was her whole life, was raising her children. And the other thing that really I learned in writing my book was I always thought, as one of 12 children, that my mother didn't give much time to me, and I always kind of resented that. But in writing the book, you know, I learned like what her everyday life was like, and came to appreciate her and my dad and the sacrifice they made for all of us.
The Friends of the Orion Township Library organizes several fundraising events for the library throughout the year. Coming up is the Holiday Silent Basket Auction, November 11th through December 2nd. For more information, visit orionlibrary.org/friends. And with that, we'll wrap up this edition of ONTV News. On behalf of the entire ONTV News team, I'm Stacy Calloway. Thanks for watching.